I'm going to cut a slab out that will become the bottom of a cup. This is the softened triangular pattern that I use. And I've traced around the edge here. So I've transferred the line of this pattern onto the clay and I'm cutting around it. And this will be then draped over a mold and pressed in. And this is the end result of this pattern that we'll use here. So here's this little clay mold, and I'm gonna get this somewhat centered on here. I'm just gonna eye this and press down, and I'm rotating it as I press. It's like collaring with a slab. And then I will use a little water and press down into this recess. And use a rib to define this line. And then once this is a little drier, I can take it off and use this for the bottom of the cup. So this is a bottomless cylinder that I threw, and this will be the wall of the cup, or the upper section. And I usually cut these off with a knife, mostly because this is what I have right at hand, but also because sometimes a wire tool will pull the edge of the wall under since there's no bottom to hold it. I turn this upside down in order to fit the bottom, and I will take this and mark where the corners are, and then use those as a guide when I'm cutting this cylinder to fit. And this really just comes with a lot of practice. Next, I will triangulate this a little bit and then slip and score this into place. First, I find where the corners meet, and then I press the walls to fit. And then I use a rib to really start refining this. One thing about doing a lot of this altering and shaping to remember for this to remain clean is to really keep your hands clean. I generally don't work with a lot of clay residue on my fingers because then I just have to clean that all off. So I try really hard to at least keep my fingertips pretty dry and not full of slip. And further refining again can happen once this clay is stiffer. And now this bottom really lifts this cylinder off the ground. I'm going to use this paintbrush to run along the seam and just compress any little bits that are sticking out, and then use the bristle side to further smooth this seam so I don't have to go back in here again. So this is all finished and done inside.